Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about a wee topic of Dhikr, how we can use this amazing tool to achieve success and senses of peace and senses of enlightenment within our daily lives. For me, um, I guess there are times and places where Dhikr is a good thing to do. I think in moderation, like all things, it's good to do some dhikr, but let's say if we did it all the time, we probably wouldn't be too grounded as humans. But just doing it sometimes, helping us to become more reflective and more grateful and more connected to God. So basically, I'm going to start with a wee story. I had an experience of mine where I ended up basically nearly coming very close to death. I went into a diabetic coma, and basically I spent about 3 days in sort of like a semi-conscious state, and then probably about a week in a fully like in a medical coma, essentially. Whether it was induced or whether it was my body reacting, I don't actually know. It's something I can find out, but I know for now that I was in a coma for about a week, and yeah, basically I came back to it, and I've been really happy ever since. The time that I spent in the ICU was incredibly. It was magical. I had like hundreds of nurses just taking care of my every need, and it was incredible. It was a really special time, and it really helped me to become a lot more grateful to God and to my family and to my friends and to everything, right? So basically, one of the things that I did when I was in recovery was dhikr. Basically, I had some beats, and I would just count on it. Dhikr, alhamdulillah, 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 over and over and over again. And it was good. Basically, what I kind of found was that this was something that I had for myself that maybe some other of the patients they didn't really have, and for me this kind of made me realize like how lucky I am to have a connection with Allah, and how unfortunate it is for someone who doesn't necessarily believe in God. They don't have they don't really have a grounding in gratitude, and yeah, what I did notice, and I mean this with all kindness, they were a lot more unhappy than I was in my state. I was always reflecting on God, reflecting on gratitude, reflecting on just making dhikr, alhamdulillah, 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 and it was incredible. It gave me more or less it gave me something to do to start off with, but as well as that, I think it really enlightened my spiritual state, and it. Basically, I remember the whole time. I mean, I was so weak that I couldn't move when I woke up, but I don't remember feeling any pain. I felt discomfort from being in a hospital bed for weeks without necessarily moving, but I didn't feel any pain, and I really do believe that a big part of this was I was so connected to God, and maybe Allah made this trial for me a lot more bearable, right? So yeah, I guess doing dhikr in these kinds of times is a really good thing to do. And if anyone finds themselves in a similar situation, whether you're in a long line or if you have some kind of a similar thing to me, if you end up with a lot of time to reflect, try dhikr. And I believe that this will help to make you feel better. Within yourself, and also better in terms of your connection with Allah. So I guess another thing is the dhikr it really strengthens your sense of tawheed. So basically, when you're doing dhikr all the time, you're essentially acknowledging, look, I'm not the one in control of all of the things that are going on here. There's a creator, and basically our creator is making sure that everything is taken care of. I mean, I was given medicine, I was given food, I was given support, and it was amazing. And when you keep your sense of tawheed, you really become very, very grateful, and all of the interactions that you have with other people, they become a lot more centered on Islam, because you're always remembering that we need to be grateful all the time. So that's I guess another thing. Now, one of the things that I felt was good, and I'll link 2 points together here. Basically, when we do this dhikr, it essentially solidifies our identity as a Muslim. So I guess in these instances where we are kind of left all alone, how are we going to show our identity as Muslims? We can read the Quran, we can listen to the Quran, we can listen to talks, and we can do things like dhikr. And this basically says, look, I'm practicing Islam, and this is my way of life. And anyone who wants to relate in any way, they can do that. And anyone who knows a tiny bit about Islam, they can also have something to talk to about as well, and it's really, really good. And the second point that I was going to link here was one of da'wah. So basically, when I was all by myself, essentially, I was always listening to Quran recitation. I was always listening to khutbah. I was always doing dhikr. And basically, this was an amazing opportunity, really, to show people, look, this is how a Muslim lives. This is how a Muslim is grateful. And this is how we essentially get on with life when the world is kind of going to chaos. We have a sense of quietness about us that I guess is something that's really, 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 really good to have. And it's a way for everyone to be able to relate to us, because when we don't essentially want anything from anyone else, when our peace and tranquility and security comes from Allah, it makes us really easy to get along with. And I found that to be true with the nurses and the doctors and the patients. I guess having this Islam about my character was very, 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 very good. It made it opened the opportunity to share anything about Islam, or just to show, look, this is how I live, and this is how I like to show my gratitude. So that's another thing. And I guess this is probably another similar point to the last one as well, a sense of pride and belonging. So I guess when we show solidarity within ourselves, that, look, I don't really care what others are going to say, how others are going to think, whether they're going to think I'm a terrorist or some kind of weirdo. I mean, it shows in our character what our true ideals are. So when we have this gratitude about us, when we're always reflecting on God and essentially doing the right things, this really grounds ourselves, and it shows, look, I'm going to do my thing, and anyone can do theirs. I mean, in a sense, lakum dinakum waliya din, right? So and it's really good, because the strong Muslim, the Muslim who is strong in their religion, can essentially get along with anyone, whereas the weak Muslim can kind of get a bit tied into things, and they can be a bit taken for a ride, in a sense, and we don't want that. So that's another thing. And the last thing, peacefulness, and I've written down Zen as well. So if you know what Zen is, it's essentially like like a sense of peace and a sense of spiritual clarity, and sort of like an understanding of the nature of life and stuff. Basically, when we do dhikr, and in any situation now, I have another example of some time where I've done dhikr in my daily life, not just at a masjid, not just in my own home, but out and about, playing cricket. So when I was just sitting in the grounds waiting for a turn, I would read. I have a small copy of Surah Yasin. I would just read it out loud, and basically, this again, it goes back to the sense of pride and belonging and being a Muslim, and it also really helps us to ground ourselves and become peaceful. Like, we become not so much attached to the outcome of things, and it really strengthens our connection with God, which inevitably is going to bring us feelings of peace and serenity and goodness as well. So I guess peacefulness that can be derived from doing dhikr in all situations, not just at the masjid, not just in your own time, but in all places. Give it a go and see what happens. You might feel more peaceful. You might feel closer to God, and it might be a good sense of dawah as well. So that's all I have to share for today. The habit of dhikr and how it can be transformative. Basically, how these little things can basically change the way we think, and it can bring us to a lot more better senses of serenity, clarity, and joy as well as Muslims. So that's all I have to share. If you liked the video, if you've gained anything from it, drop us a comment, say hello, and thank you very much.